Hey everybody, this is Alicia, also known as AVP. Tonight I'm joined by my husband Jack. I apologize if you see on the where it says 7 a.m. Sorry guys, I've been a little bit stressed lately. So yeah, I've been under a lot of pressure with in and out of hospital visits with my mom. So long story short, she's doing a lot better now. But yeah, we are back with Orville novella, chapter 7. So we're finally getting to the Orville content. It's still a little problematic.
Hmm.
So that's the reason why we had the warning at the bottom of the banner to let you guys know it's a little problematic.
Yeah.
So we alter it around a little bit instead of saying certain things, we say no. Because my mom asked me a certain question today about that. I says, I don't think Seth is that way. The reason why he's supporting certain cultures, I'll say that nicely.
Right.
But yeah, we're still waiting on season 4 because of the writer's strike. But in the meantime, we'll keep stretching out our Orville content as long as we can. I mean, Jack and I have got a system in place that we'll do basically still keep doing the novella. And then our good friend Todd has given us permission to do his Orville comics, the inked ones.
Yay.
So that's going to be fun. And also after that, we are going to try to do watch parties again, the season 3 one, because we've done seasons 1 and 2, but we haven't done any for season 3. I mean, Jack and I still watch season 3 from time to time
Hmm.
as impromptu dates,
Oh,
and we'll
hi,
catch
Chloe.
up. Hey, Chloe. So yeah, little nuggets like that. We'll keep you guys posted when we do that. That's probably going to be probably after I move out to California, basically. In the
Probably.
meantime, so yeah, we're going to stretch out this content as long as we can because I'm going to tell you guys straight up, it's not canceled, it's not renewed yet, no, but we're in
Limbo.
that limbo stage. I mean,
Yes.
if you've been an Orville fan since day one or fairly new to the franchise, you will see that this happened before with seasons 2 and 3.
Hmm.
We had that little limbo era, not with the writer strike now, it was a different limbo because it'd been basically almost 2 years, if I remember correctly, before we found out about season 3. And then the whole COVID situation shut everything down. And so, yeah, we had to basically just say, look, be patient.
Hmm.
And then we're saying the same advice now, almost 2 years later, nearly 3 years later, actually. Be patient. If they did a good job with season 3 the way they did with these mini movies, be patient. Hopefully, season 4 will go above and beyond anything we've seen. So, yeah, we are going to do, like I said, chapter 7 tonight of the novella. Oh, next month. Let's see. What is going to be next on the. All I know is next month is we will do chapter 8 sometime. Not sure if I'll do anything for my birthday next month. I really don't know. I have not decided yet.
Hmm.
I had that. Uh-oh, Jack's planning something.
Oh no, I already planned something. I was just hinting on. I'm waiting on something.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Excuse me. So, are you ready for chapter 7, my dear?
I am ready. Oh, and by the way, the reason why I have two windows here, one for audio and one for video, is because I was a dum dum a couple of nights ago and broke my laptop, so it's currently being repaired.
Yes. Yeah, one's his cell phone. The one up above where you see him is his cell phone. The other one is the audio from his computer, if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
So, yep. Alrighty. Chapter 7. And like I said, if you hear it altered, like we say in the warning, we're trying to avoid controversy. We don't want any more controversy as it is.
Yeah, we try not to say like Jewish too much in this, especially in this context.
Right, and the Voldemort character.
Hmm.
Alrighty. Alrighty, time for me to get in my voice on. A dozen so of the guys had died from overwork in the process, but they had quickly been replaced, and the results was astounding. The camp had been more than adequately transformed in time for the inspection. The barracks had been painted and trimmed, Colorful flower beds had been planted, and the healthiest of the prisoners were now strolling about, clothed in clean, weather appropriate, presentable attire. The women's dresses were as pretty enough even by outside standards, and some of the men even wore hats. Young children could be seen running about playing a game of tag near a small playground area complete with a seesaw and a wooden slide. There were no trace of the weedy, undernourished prisoners who normally inhabited the camp. Some had been relocated, some had been liquidated. Oh, jeez. Otto guided Mercer and Grayson through the grounds of the facility with pride and satisfaction.
As you can see,
He assured them.
our occupants are being well treated and provided for. They are more than adequately nourished. They have soap, clean water, and we even have our own laundry.
Mercer nodded, apparently contented with what he saw.
Very encouraging.
He agreed. This was going better and more smoothly than expected. Otto pressed on.
Once every 2 weeks, we screen a film in the barracks, and on Sunday nights, the cooks prepare cakes and pies. Ah, this is something you should see. Look there. Some of our younger residents have become curious about the American sport of baseball. I think they're quite good, yes?
As they approached the game, Otto privately fumed as he noticed the expressions on the children's faces. They were dead-eyed, lifeless. Where were the smiles he had demanded under threat of punishment? Where was the laughter? They had been given a week's worth of regular meals in preparation for this day. If those little brats had exposed him in this operation, he would personally see them liquidated before lunchtime. Red Cross be damned. He guided Mercer and Grayson toward the other end of the grounds.
Now, if you'll follow me, I'll show you the inside of the barracks. You'll find the accommodations to be more, please help us, they're killing us.
Otto stopped dead in his tracks and felt a wave of combined panic and rage as he turned around. One of the prisoners had broken away from his assigned facade and was staggering toward Mercer and Grayson. Otto nodded sharply to the nearest guard, who approached the disruptive guy, a shortish, balding creature of about 40, as Otto hastily began damage control.
My apologies.
He said, mustering a reassuring smile for the visitors.
Micah has had some psychological difficulties.
The guy shouted with wild eyes.
This is all a lie. They're killing us. I assure you, he's getting the very best medical care that we could provide for him,
said Otto. The guard had begun gently but firmly to pull the upstart from the scene.
Please help. I beg you, help us.
The guard pulled harder.
No.
With remarkable adrenaline-fueled speed, the guy violently struck the guard square in the face, utterly unprepared for and unused to this level of rebellion. The guard was momentarily stunned, but one moment was enough. The prisoner wrestled the guard's machine gun free and turned it on him. He fired, spraying a load of bullets directly into the guard's chest. The man was dead instantly. Within seconds, every other weapon within the perimeter was at the ready, trained on the prisoner. All across the grounds, the newly groomed guys froze, stunned by what was happening. The guards cocked their guns.
No, wait,
shouted Otto. Perhaps the situation could still be salvaged from a political standpoint. If not, if the Red Cross's report was not what it must be, well, the thought of Phelan, Fleischenstein, Himmler was too unthinkable to contemplate. The consequences would very likely cost him his career, and possibly more than that. Otto slowly and cautiously moved toward the prisoner.
Micah,
he said in the gentlest tone of which he was capable.
Put down the weapon. We want to help you.
Micah stared with crazed look in his eye and did not yet shoot. His hand shook. It's the first time he's ever killed a man, thought Otto. He's reeling. He's still processing. Otto took advantage of the moment.
No one is going to hurt you. I promise.
He moved closer, closer. If that goddamn guy with his quivering hand actually pulled the trigger. Otto moved closer. He put a hand on his sidearm. The prisoner fired. Otto was hit. The bullets passed right through him. He looked down at his own body. Nothing. No wounds, no blood, not even a scratch or a graze. Was it possible? Could every single bullet have missed its mark at point-blank range? The guy rushed toward Otto and fired again. And again. The bullets passed through him as if they were spears of a deceased. He didn't even feel a change in air pressure. He was completely unharmed. It was inconceivable that anyone could have missed it that range with that weapon. One of the other guards then opened fire, shooting the prisoner in the head. He fell to the ground, unmoving. Otto was in shock. He stared blankly at the other guards, who appeared equally dumbfounded.
It's impossible.
One of them whispered softly with awe. Mercer stepped forward.
Herr Vogel,
He said,
we can explain what's happening.
even though the shock, Otto slowly became aware of the peculiarity. The two Red Cross representatives appeared utterly unmoved or undisturbed by the miraculous event that had just occurred. The astonishment that was evident on the faces of everyone else present was absent from these two. Grayson spoke the first of many words that would shatter Otto's world forever. Hold simulation. It happened instantaneously. The guards, the prisoners, everyone froze where they were. The cold was gone. The wind was gone. All was silent. Otto looked to his left, where an armed guard stood motionless in mid stride. One foot was off the ground with a small cloud of dust in its wake. The dust did not move.
What what trick is this?
He hissed fiercely, though in the sound of his own voice he heard far more fear than rage. He marched straight at the frozen guard, moving to grab the man by the shoulders.
Answer me now.
He passed right through him. Otto fell to the ground, landing hard on his face. Of course there was no pain. There never was, never had been. He awkwardly turned himself over and looked up. In the sky above him, a wood pigeon hung in place. Its wings spread in mid-flight, but it did not move. Otto felt as if he were oozing out of his own body, watching events unfold from a detached place. Is this what it's like to go mad? As if in a dream, Mercer and Grayson approached him. He became freshly aware of a small brown satchel that hung from Grayson's shoulder. The guard at the gate had inspected upon entry, but all was in order. Now she removed it, reached in, and pulled out what appeared to be a white robe of some kind. Herr Vogel, she said, please put this on.
What?
He felt disoriented, nauseous, ready to vomit. Please put this on over your uniform, and we'll tell you what's going on. Mercer gave him what was clearly intended to be a reassuring look.
Trust us.
He said, with no other apparent move, presented himself. Otto extended a quivering hand and took the robe. It was soft, impossibly soft. The threads of the fabric were finer than the most expensive garment he'd ever seen or felt. He put on the robe. Mercer helped Otto to his feet, though it was unclear whether his legs would continue to operate under their own power.
Herr Vogel,
Said,
Otto,
said Mercer.
I'm going to tell you something that will be very hard for you to believe, but you're going to have to try. What? Your world is not real.
The man was speaking nonsense. Otto neither believed or disbelieved what was being said, because it was a statement of a drunk or a dope user. Wait, was that it? Had he somehow been drugged? Of course, now it made sense. He was under the influence of a narcotic, but why and how? Mercer continued.
What is about to happen is going to be extremely traumatizing, but you need to know that you are safe. No one here is going to harm you.
Deceptively palated words, no doubt uttered by torturers before a brutal interrogation.
Who are you?
Otto demanded. Mercer and Grayson exchanged a glance that seemed to silently communicate some moment of decisiveness. In simulation, said Grayson, and Otto's world disintegrated. Oof. Ooh, poor Otto.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm-mm. So, yeah, it's a simulation. Hmm. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes. So suddenly his whole world just disappeared in front of him.
Yep.
Right. At first, it started with something that would be impossible. Like, you get shot, but it just the bullets pass through and you're not hurt.
Right.
And
It just slides through him almost like a Superman kind of thing.
mhm.
With a, I mean, it's like
Well, I mean, it bounces off Superman, but it went, yeah. But yeah, it's his whole. So you follow Otto in the first chapter, you follow him as a baby,
Right.
and then you follow him as a child,
Mhm.
and then a young man, and now a fully grown Nazi.
Right.
And suddenly, that's about to change.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, is he really what we don't know about his real life right now yet, but that's coming, I'm sure. Is his name
Well,
really Otto? I mean,
well, it seems like this. It seems like Otto's been in this like a simulation since he was a baby.
right.
So this could be a very long simulation, like an experiment. You know, like if you lived in 1930s Germany, would you become a Nazi? And you know,
Right.
yeah, that type of thing.
I mean, it's something to think about, and then now the Orville crew's involved some kind of way. I mean, obviously they know he's in the simulation, but how did they know he was in the simulation? That's what's the next key censure. Like, how did they know he was in the simulator?
Hmm.
How did he get trapped in the simulator? You know, I
Right.
mean, is this simulation on, a ship that's part of the Union? We don't know.
Hmm.
Okay, what's your question, Chloe? She says, to find out that your world was not only the one he has known isn't real, I'm curious to know what this would do to someone's psyche. That would definitely mess you up for sure.
Right. And Ed was even like, you know, what's about to happen is going to be extremely traumatizing.
Right. I mean, I think about these people who have been brainwashed into thinking certain things are true, like when they're being captive, kind of thing, and they think something is true, and then they find out, no, that's not true. That's very traumatizing for the people that are involved with that. I think it's going to be some kind of trauma like that that's going to be that with Otto in this case, or whatever his name is, because to find out your whole world is a lie, everything that you believed was true,
Hmm.
it doesn't exist. He's like, well, what can I believe? Who can I trust? Here it is. He's thinking that these are two Red Cross representatives, and they're telling him, put this robe on. And he's like, okay, I don't understand it. Because he's thinking, am I drunk? Am I drugged? What's going on here?
Well, I think I think the reason why they had him put the robe on was if if that whole world is a simulation, then so are his clothes,
Right.
perhaps.
Exactly.
And then when they ended the simulation, he probably his uniform probably disappeared too.
Exactly. He'd be with nothing basically.
So that's probably why they asked him to put the robe on.
Mhm. Exactly. And now they've got to rebuild his life and say, "Hey, you're going to find out some stuff that you were think it was true is not true."
Hmm.
And it sort of makes sense the fact that it is a simulation, the fact that the way the timeline for his life escalates quicker than normal lifespan.
Hmm.
I mean, the fact that he gets involved with Annalise, like he says, "Oh, this is the woman I want to marry," and
Well, turns out she's probably not real too.
probably not.
Which that you know, to grow a family like, you know, because they had kids, they had a baby.
Right.
Um, you know, to for all for you to do all that, do everything for your family, and then you know, only to realize that your family never existed in the first place, or
That would
or
that
that
would
may,
be that would
yeah,
be really hard. Yeah,
yeah,
that's true. I mean, yeah. I mean, was his family members part of the union? Why is he how did he get stuck there in the simulation? That's what we're gonna have to find out next with Otto, basically. Because I don't think his name is actually Otto, if I remember correctly.
okay,
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, so far we've seen Ed and Kelly in it, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens next to these characters. Like, okay, what's gonna happen to Otto? Because he's obviously not Otto.
right.
I mean, don't know. But yeah, it's been an interesting read so far, that's for sure. I mean, because I know people keep asking, should they have done this, filmed this after if season 4 comes back? I'm like, I got mixed feelings on that. I'll say that as much as we've been reading in here. I'd like to see it live action, but Jack and I both have agreed if it takes about halfway through this novella before you finally get any Orville content, you're going to be a little bit turned off by that, I think.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you were watching this instead of reading it, um, yeah, you'd probably think you're watching the wrong show.
Basically, basically.
Until like the theme song came up or something.
And you go like, but then you'd be go like, well, okay, I see the theme, but how is this tied to the Orville, basically? I
Ah,
mean, that's how I felt with Majority Rule, honestly. I'll say that. I mean, I've said it many, many times. You guys have probably heard me say it. Because when the first time I saw it, when we deal with the first two characters, like, that's not Ed, that's not Kelly. Who are these people? Why are they running through this corridor? And it's not until they go, then they do the theme. I'm like, oh, I am watching the right show. It is Orville, but okay, that's a little weird.
hmm
So yeah, like I said, we will do chapter 8 next month. It's hard to believe that next month will be June. I mean, May is slowly coming to an end.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
But yeah, like I said, we will keep you posted when we get chapter 8 ready for you guys to read. I apologize again, like I said, because when I set up the stream, I put down 7 a.m. and instead of 7 p.m. But I've been dealing with a lot of stuff. My mom been in and out of the hospital, and I was a little out of it still. I think when I set it up, I was probably still a little sleepy. I mean, she's doing a lot better now. I'll say that. She's doing much, much better now that they got the air conditioning on in our apartment. That's a big, big help.
Right.
But yeah, and from what I'm hearing, it looks like PJ might be getting his Twitter account back soon. I don't know. I've been
Finally.
right. Nearly like 3 months later, I think. 4 months, 3, four
More than
months.
that. Jeez.
I know, it's crazy. But yeah. And yeah, like I said, I don't know if I'm going to do any streams or anything on my birthday yet. I may or may not. I mean, I don't know. It's still too early to determine, basically. Um, but yeah, the next thing we will do is, like I said, once we finish up the novella, in case you guys are curious, we're going to do, like I said, these comics that Todd created. I can share you guys what they look like in case you guys were curious. Like, well, what do they look like exactly? So you're probably thinking, well, I've never seen them. Well, these are not in print, actually. They're just digital things. And Todd was kind enough to give us permission to read them.
Yay.
So yeah, this is the comics. They're called Orville Inked, and they're in 3 parts. So this could be fun to read those. I mean, it's really done really, really well. I mean, we got looks like Priya in this one, so yeah. Because I thought at first this was the actual comics, and then I started looking. I said, "Oh wait, this isn't." And then Jack told me, "Yeah, we should read these sometime." I'm like, okay. I can see there's a
hmm
little differences here and there in it, like a couple of things. Because like, oh, is this the comics? And I'm like, no, I see it's not. Because I see some stuff with the krill. But yeah, that's gonna be fun to read. And hopefully we can do some. I can start setting up some interviews for that too. Because I got some interviews I'm trying to set up, but I'm trying to make sure my move is finished with Jack before that's all done.
hmm
Yeah, I'm excited to read them too, Chloe. I really am. Because Todd gave us a good compliment and said, hey, you guys have very good speaking, reading voices. So that's good. Hopefully we can do it justice. I mean, we're not professionals. Jack and I are hardly professional. We're just two amateur Orville fans just having a good time with it, basically. So yeah, I think that's everything. Unless you have anything to add, my dear.
Hmm. Not really. Other than renew the Orville and
Right, and
just
check
be
out. Oh
here.
yeah, Jay Lee's got some cool stuff too. I told him I would wear next time I do a stream. I would wear some of my Jay Lee shirt. So yeah, I got my Jay Lee shirt. Do Better University. So I'm representing Orville and Jay Lee. So yeah, like I said, we will do Orville chapter 8 for the novella next month sometime. Birthday stream may or may not happen. We'll see. But yeah, you guys have a good rest of your day, and we will see you next time.
Hmm.
Bye.